All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Marty Kotler. I want to thank you for attending this webinar on how to develop and create an employee policy handbook. Just a quick disclaimer before we get going. The information in this webinar is for educational purposes. It's not intended to substitute your thorough clinical decision-making. It's not intended to be a substitute for your billing protocols. It's definitely not intended to be legal advice. Target coding does not provide legal services. Every attempt has been made to make certain that the information in this webinar is 100% accurate. However, it's not guaranteed. All right, let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. Now, some of you are past attendees of our webinars and seminars. Some of you are members of Target Coding, and some of you are brand new to my company. So for those of you that have no idea who I am, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a chiropractor. I practiced for 16 years prior to starting my company, Target Coding. I am also a certified professional compliance officer and certified billing and coding specialist. My area of expertise is in coding, billing, cash practice compliance, documentation, risk management, record keeping, durable medical equipment, medical errors, Medicare, and HIPAA. And I consider myself kind of unique. Let me tell you why. Most doctors are not certified coders, and most certified coders are not doctors. So you'll see during this program how I combine both specialties to help you improve productivity, maximize reimbursement, reduce administrative burden, and show you how to get paid for everything you do. Target coding has been helping thousands of doctors and their staff members for over 15 years with our exceptional products and services. Now, Target coding members, you are entitled to get the playback recording. In about 24 to 48 hours after this webinar is over, Target coding members log into your account and you'll be able to get the playback recording. Some of you might fall asleep, so you could watch it again. Some of you may not have all your team members in the office listening to this, so you could play it back whenever you want. Again, this is for members only. You'll also get any of the PowerPoint slides. You'll get all the PowerPoint slides that I'm going to show you and any forms that I show you. So again, log into your account in 24 to 48 hours, Target Coding members, and you can get the playback recording notes and all the forms. Okay, let's begin. We're going to be talking about an employee policy handbook, which really has nothing to do with billing and coding or Medicare or HIPAA. The purpose of an employee policy handbook is to provide your staff members with a clear understanding of their duties and responsibilities. So let's go through them. Let's start with some general responsibilities. Service first. The primary purpose of your practice is to do whatever necessary to render quality service to your patients. That's the message that you want to provide to your staff. Example, your goal is to help as many people as possible with the highest quality care, educate your patients so they can in turn educate others. You should expect your staff to convey a warm, cheerful, and friendly attitude. Now, do you have an office mission statement? You should. If you would like the one that we give out to our clients, if you're not a member of Target Coding, feel free to email us and we'll send you the one that we give to our clients as a sample if you don't have one. Next, you should have an open door policy. The office recognizes that the accumulation of unspoken, unanswered problems, grievances, complaints can result in dissatisfaction with a working relationship. So you want to give the impression that you have an open door policy. If any staff members, now I'm directing this to the owner of the business, typically it's the chiropractor. If you have any staff members, we're talking about front desk receptionists, clinical staff, associate doctors that have a problem with anything in the office, you are going to listen to their issues and you're going to take care of it. If you have an office manager, you can direct those issues to the office manager. Next, working hours. Explain to your staff members, all your employees, what your hours are. Make sure if you're hiring a brand new staff member, make sure that they understand your hours. If you have hours on Friday and you're about to hire a staff member that cannot work on Fridays, that should be handled before you start to employ a staff member. Any work around any conflicts, if necessary. And we recommend that you keep your hours simple and easy to remember for your patients. How about this? 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Next, punctuality and running late. Punctuality is essential. We recommend that you tell your staff members to arrive at least 15 minutes prior to the scheduled office hours so they could be ready. Tardiness will not be handled. Now, how do you want to handle tardiness? Example, first incident, verbal warning. Second incident, written reprimand. Third incident, if your policy is that you're allowed to immediately terminate an employee, put it in writing. That's part of what we're talking about, putting everything in writing in your employee handbook. Doctors, you may run late. Let's say your last patient is scheduled to come in at 6 p.m. and this patient doesn't show up until 6:30, and now you have to stay in the office till 7 or 7:30. Explain that to your staff members so they understand there will be occasions where patients come in late, maybe an emergency, which can cause staff members to run past their usual scheduled time. So you may want to explain to your staff members that it's not a time clock profession. Day is over when the last patient leaves. Now, again, I want to share with you my disclaimer. I'm not a labor attorney. These are just a few recommendations that I'm giving you in my opinion. Do not incorporate any of these items that I'm sharing with you until you speak with an attorney. Speak with your colleagues. Speak with your family. If you have a practice management consultant or an advisor, speak to those individuals. You should have an attorney create a handbook and policies specific to your practice. Next, how about dress code? Patients may judge the practice by the employees as well as the products and services. Appropriate dress and appearance project a professional image and contribute to impression of a high quality organization. You may want to delineate dress code for certain staff members. For the office manager, neat, clean, laundered clothing. Clinical staff, front desk receptionist, pick a color. Maybe you like scrubs, like you see the photo on the screen right now. White shoes? What color shoes? What color sneakers? Clinical staff, do you want your clinical staff doctors to wear name badges? I think it's a good idea to wear name badges. I think you should discourage staff members from wearing heavy colognes or perfumes. Again, I'm not a labor attorney. Check with an attorney before you incorporate any of these items. How about addressing the doctors? While in practice, all staff members should address the doctors as doctor. This communicates a professional image. I wouldn't want my front desk receptionist to say, "Hey, Marty, the next patient is here. I'm Dr. Kotler in the office." Out of the office, you can call me Marty. I'm okay with that. Office appearance, give a neat and clean impression. Each staff member is responsible for cleaning his or her own station at the end of the day. This is a place where everything should be kept nice and clean. Next, patient communication. Many times patients will tell staff members things that they're afraid or embarrassed to tell the doctor, or maybe they forgot. Patient comments, negative or positive, should be relayed back to the doctor. The more the doctors know, the better the patients will get treated. Confidentiality. Explain to your staff members it's essential to adhere to patient confidentiality. Information concerning patients, the staff, or business practice will never be discussed outside of the practice. Office managers, doctors, business owners, I'm assuming you would want all staff members to understand the importance of chiropractic, have a working knowledge of chiropractic. As an employee of the practice, you're going to be asked questions about the chiropractic profession. You want to answer them in a professional manner. Next, doctors, office managers, you may have workshops that you want all new patients to attend. Maybe you call it a healthcare class, a new patient orientation. Some of the doctors we work with, they call it a doctor's report. When you bring on a new staff member, tell them that they should understand the purpose of these healthcare classes and how important it is to educate patients, instructing them in the principles of a healthy lifestyle. Doctors, you may want to send your staff to seminars. Great idea. You may want to send your associate doctors to continuing education seminars. Let them know if that's something you want them to do. That's part of their employment. As an employee of the practice, it's a great idea to have your employees attend seminars and webinars, continuing education. It's a great, unique opportunity for you to bond with your staff members. Great bonding occurs. Even if you learn one important item at a seminar, it's worth it. And doctors, have your staff members attend our seminars and webinars. Staff meetings, all employees should be required to attend your staff meetings. How often are you going to hold them? Twice a week, once a week, monthly? Are you going to have mini meetings? Are you going to have team huddles prior to every shift? And with every meeting that you have, you should document them in a training log. Some more general responsibilities. The office phone. The phone is one of your main means of communications with the outside world. I would recommend you tell employees to limit personal calls. If they need to use the phone, there should be other open lines. Our doctors, are you okay with your employees using their own cell phone? Do you have a cell phone policy? Would you like a sample cell phone policy? Yes? Email info@targetcoding.com and we'll send you Target Coding's sample cell phone policy. Email and internet. Are you okay, doctors, with your employees using your personal, not your personal, your office computer for them to check their personal email and go online? Have your HIPAA privacy officer review your email and internet use policies to prevent HIPAA violations. You want to learn more about that? Most of you know who Natasha is. Natasha is Target Coding's in-house specialist when it comes to HIPAA. Feel free to schedule a 15-minute free meeting with her to go over your HIPAA exposure when it comes to email and internet. There's her email right on the screen, natasha@targetcoding.com. Doctors, you may have a parking lot, which requires a parking pass and other restrictions when it comes to parking. If you have a free parking lot, I don't recommend you have your staff members park in the very front parking spaces. Leave those for the patients. Explain that to all employees. You should also explain to all employees that the office is not responsible for any damage to employee vehicles while parked in the practice's parking lot. Some more general responsibilities. Smoking and eating. This should be obvious. Smoking is strictly prohibited on the practice property. Are you okay allowing staff members to eat at their workstation? I don't think it's a great idea. I'll leave that up to you. Put it in the policy. Eating is not allowed during office hours. You want a snack? Maybe you have a break room where employees could eat lunch and have their snacks. You should have a policy on injuries and accidents that may occur to an employee. And give the impression, and you should be doing this, doctors, you strive to provide a safe work environment for all employees. Now, in the event of a work-related accident, employees may be eligible for workers' compensation. Check with your state Workers' Compensation Act. Any type of on-the-job injury, you should explain to your employees that they should immediately notify the business owner or the office manager. And the employee must complete a report of the injury within a certain amount of days. Again, I'm not a labor attorney. These are just a few recommendations, in my opinion. Do not incorporate any of these until you speak with an attorney. Check with your advisors. Check with your team. You should hire a labor attorney to create a handbook on employee policies specific to your practice. How about outside employment? Doctors, are you okay with your staff members working in other facilities? Could this possibly be a conflict? You're providing your quote unquote insider secrets to your staff and associate doctors. Are you okay with them working in another chiropractic office? Put it in writing. Training period. Explain to new employees that the first blank number of months, your employment is considered a training period. After this training period, if a staff member chooses to voluntarily leave, they will not be eligible for unemployment compensation. Again, check with your local laws. Okay, those were a whole bunch of really good general responsibilities. You should have an employee handbook. Now let's talk about compensation. Explain to staff members that they will be compensated weekly, bi-weekly, hourly, provide the specific amount per hour. Explain that paychecks are issued on Fridays. If Friday's a holiday, your paycheck will be issued on the last work day of the week. Overtime. Explain to your employees that they may work beyond regularly scheduled hours. And your overtime policies follow established guidelines under federal law. It's called the Fair Labor Standards Act. There are a couple of categories, non-exempt and exempt. Doctors, office managers, explain this to all your employees. Pay stubs, payroll deductions, explain each amount that will be deducted in employee paychecks, state taxes, federal taxes, Social Security, retirement contributions. And doctors, your pay stubs should outline each one of these. They should be detailed. Doctors, do you want your employees to receive their compensation through automatic deposit? It's rare that people write checks nowadays. So go through the process of being able to pay your employees through automatic deposits right into their bank accounts. How about health insurance? Do you want to provide health insurance to your employees? This is something that is optional. Health insurance could be reviewed on an annual basis. Holidays, get detailed on the holidays that the office will be closed. Typical ones, New Year's Day, Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. There may be other days that you consider a holiday. Outline it in your employee policy handbook. Vacation days. Explain to your employees that they are entitled to blank number of weeks of paid vacation after completing a blank number of months or years of continuous employment. Explain this is important, especially if you're a small practice and you have 2 employees. I don't think it would be a good idea to have 2 employees take their vacation at the same time. Outline that in your employee policy handbook. Ask your employees to give you at least 6 weeks notice in advance of any vacation requests. Sick days. Explain in your policy handbook that your employees will be entitled to blank number of sick days per calendar year. Do you want to have sick leave be accumulated? You decide. If a staff member is going to be absent from work due to illness, staff member should call the office manager as soon as possible. Other items relating to compensation. About jury duty. Yes, it happens. How are you going to handle that? Typically, the practice pays full-time employees the difference between their regular wages and jury duty payment. How many days? First 5 days, 10 days, any part thereof. Military leave. If an employee is in the National Guard or Armed Forces Reserves and is ordered to active duty, she'll be granted military leave with pay for a maximum number of work days. Here again, check with state and federal laws. Bereavement leave. An excused paid absence of up to blank number of days for work time will be granted for purposes of arranging, attending, resolving personal matters. With the death of an immediate family member. Now, how are you going to define immediate family members? Does that include uncles, aunts, cousins? You may want to list those individuals. You may also pay employees for time lost for relatives beyond the definition of immediate family. Now let's talk about disciplinary action. There's a few ways in which you can do it. First is a verbal warning. It should be delivered in a friendly, non-accusatory manner, verbal warning. The business owner, office manager is to let the employee that the procedure being followed is not the one preferred and the proper procedure should be explained or clarified. Number 2 would be a strong informal warning. So an informal warning is delivered. The employee is to be informed that this is his or her second warning. And if the procedure is not changed to conform to the proper procedure, a written warning will be entered into his or her permanent record. Next would be a formal disciplinary notice. This is a written notice placed in the employee's permanent record. It is to be signed by both the office manager and the employee. If the employee is unwilling to sign, a corroborating witness is to sign the notice. The employee is to be informed that non-conformance, non-correction was indicated, and this may result in immediate termination. Next step would be, if this is something you want to incorporate in your policy handbook, is the employee will be placed on probation. when he or she receives a formal disciplinary notice. A meeting of the employee is to be scheduled with the doctor and office manager to determine if the employee wishes to continue working for you. If the employee decides to change his or her behavior and conform to the wishes of the doctor and do so willingly, the employee will be placed on probation. The results of the meeting are written and signed by both the doctor and the employee and placed in the employee's permanent record. Next would be a review with your employee. This is conducted after the probation period. This is conducted by the doctor and the employee. And at this point, the employee is either removed from probation or terminated. The results of this review are written and signed by both the doctor and the employee. If the employee is unwilling to sign, a corroborating witness is to sign. And this written review and notice is entered into the employee's permanent record. Again, get an attorney to create a employee policy handbook that's specific to your practice. Okay, just a few additional closing comments. Now, whenever I do my live seminars, on the breaks, staff members usually come up to me and ask me, how do you learn all this stuff? What do you do to stay up to date? These are the guidelines that I read on CPT, ICD-10, E&M, HCPCS, HIPAA guidelines. If you want to get certified, you'll need to purchase these items and take a test. I'm certified in billing and coding. I'm certified as a compliance officer. I have to take 36 hours for one certification, 24 hours for another certification. I don't mind. I like reading this stuff. I'm always referring to the Medicare Benefit Policy Manual, Medicare Claims Processing Manual. I know some of you are saying you'd rather have root canal than read these items. I don't find billing and coding and compliance boring. I'm a sponge for learning. I love reading these updates. I know we all have strengths and weaknesses. You can probably tell I like doing this from the passion in my voice. I'm always looking at Aetna, Cigna's, United Healthcare guidelines, Optum guidelines, American Specialty Health, the Medicare Managed Care Manual. That's so important for those of you that see Medicare Advantage Plan patients, also known as Part C or replacement plans. Most of the doctors we work with, they're not contracted with Medicare Advantage plans. However, you still have to abide by the fee schedules when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans. We just did a free webinar on Medicare Advantage plans. It's on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and watch it. I also am always contacting state boards. Just had a chiropractor from the state of Washington asked if it was within his scope of practice to treat neuropathy. Another doctor wanted to know if CAs, unlicensed CAs, can do the therapeutic exercises and place patients on mechanical traction. I'm constantly contacting state boards. I want to know what's going on so I can help my clients and help the entire profession. I constantly read malpractice carrier journals, newsletters to make sure I know how to avoid problems when it comes to malpractice. Make sure you have good informed consent, just a little heads up on how to prevent malpractice and risk management. Have a good quality written informed consent form signed by every patient. I also get these emails directly from the OIG, from healthcare providers that have been convicted of insurance fraud, nurse practitioners, medical doctors, chiropractors. Look at all these cases here. Here's a podiatrist convicted of a $4 million foot bath fraud scheme. Why do I read these things? I want to know what these providers did wrong. And what do? I put this information out in an e-newsletter. Hopefully you get my e-newsletter. It goes out to over 20,000 offices nationwide. And we provide these horror stories to the entire profession so you could learn what not to do, how to avoid these problems. Here's a chiropractor going to jail for 7 years These are terrible stories, but this is how you learn. Prevention is the key. Don't wait for the oil light to flash on your dashboard. So have good employee policies and procedures. I think I shared with you a whole bunch of really good ones you should think about. Have policies on billing and coding and documentation. I have a webinar on that on my YouTube channel also on billing and coding policies and procedures. How do you prove? Let's say the coding police came knocking on your door and they said, who's in charge of billing and coding? Somebody better raise their hand. And then the investigator might say, well, do you provide trainings to staff members on billing and coding? Better say yes. And then the investigator might say, prove to me that you have employee trainings. What are you going to show them? You should have a training log. It'll make the investigator turn around and leave your office. Do you have a policy on discounts, on cash plans, on prepays? You should. You have a policy on documentation? Simple policy. Documentation, very important. You know that. We work with many doctors that have had some issues. 80% of the doctors that work with us are not in an audit. They're not in a crisis. 20% problem. Here's one. Doctor had to send in his notes to Cigna after he was paid. That's called a post-payment audit. Cigna said, we don't like your notes. We want money back. Do you see how much it says? $250,000. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to educate you. Here's another doctor we're working with. This is good news and bad news. Doctor was requested notes. Insurance company got the notes. Good news is they didn't want any money back. Bad news is they put this doctor on a prepayment audit. If you're familiar with prepayment audits, you know how those can cause chaos, but it's better than giving back $250,000. Another doctor we work with, very busy practice. We helped her with her soap notes. She gets a letter requesting to send in her notes. Then she gets a letter back. This is really good news. It said, Dear doctor, based on the documentation reviewed, we found that all services were reasonable and necessary. We applaud you on your billing accuracy. Wait, what? It says we applaud you on your billing accuracy and we encourage you to continue your current billing practices. I love this letter. If any of you have a letter like this from an insurance company, please send it to me. So we can help you put together billing and coding policies and procedures. We'll customize them for your practice. We provide one-on-one training sessions. We provide you with all the employee training logs, compliance forums, chart audit tools. You get a nice 3-ring binder and you get the policy manual emailed to you. So you have both the hard copy and the digital manual. I wrote a book on the best codes to improve reimbursement. This book should be part of every chiropractic billing and coding library. It has 3 chapters. First chapter shows you the codes that pay for the most visits. Wouldn't that be nice to know? What the insurance companies consider long-term treatment that will pay for around 18 to 24 visits. I have it all outlined for you in this book, broken down by anatomic site. I also give you the short-term treatment and the moderate-term treatment codes. You get an email with these cheat sheets. I also talk about in chapter 2 how to pair your codes. Just like many people like to pair food and wine, peanut butter and chocolate, you should be pairing your CPT codes and diagnosis codes. Your CPT codes are what you're doing. Your diagnosis codes are why you're doing what you're doing, and they should pair. There's a great example on your screen. Myofascial release 97140 pairs beautifully with myofascial pain syndrome. Here's another one. Another good pairing, traction and back pain, traction and radiculopathy. So this is an excellent book. It'll prevent insurance denials, reduce administrative burden. You get the best PI cheat sheets in the industry emailed to you. Let us know if you're interested. We offer many webinars, live and on demand. We have 25 different topics, soap notes, treatment plans, modifiers, how to manage managed care. We have webinars on neuropathy, decompression, shockwave, and laser financial care plans, PI, HIPAA, decompression, back braces, rehab, ICD-10. Here's what I recommend. Go to targetcoding.com. Click on the on-demand page. You'll see our library of 25 webinars. Many of them are approved for CEUs in over 30 states. We have CA boot camps. We call them our CATS program, Chiropractic Assistant Training Series. 6 one-hour courses. Certain states, we've got them improved for CEUs for your CAs. Those of you from New Jersey, do you have an LCA, a licensed chiropractic assistant in New Jersey? You need CEUs to maintain that. We have these approved in New Jersey. We have these approved in Florida. We have these approved in a whole bunch of other states. These are the topics that we cover in the 6 classes. In class number 1, we go over chiropractic terminology, spinal anatomy, new patient onboarding. Class number 2, we show CAs how to fill out a 1500 form. There are 33 boxes on the 1500 form. We go over every single box in detail. We go over how to analyze EOBs. In class number 3, we go over Medicare and how to complete prior authorization forms. In class number 4, we go over how to show CAs to help the doctor do the soap notes. Class number 5, ICD-10, modifiers, rehab procedures, unit reporting, time-based codes. And in class number 6, we go over HIPAA and the 7 elements of an effective billing and coding compliance plan. I have a package of forms, HIPAA forms, Medicare forms. The cell phone policy use form is part of this package of forms. Letters of medical necessity. These all get emailed to you instantly. As soon as you purchase them, they get emailed to you in Microsoft Word. All you have to do is copy and paste them into your software program. There's a whole list on the screen. We have a program on how to become a concierge chiropractor, how to appeal repricing of out-of-network claims. Yes, we do seminars in hotels. We also do seminars on cruise ships. We have our next seminar at sea, Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas coming up. We leave out of Miami. I get a conference room on a cruise ship. Yes, a conference room on a cruise ship. Very unique. This is our 3rd annual CE seminar at sea. We're going to St. Martin. We're going to St. Thomas. We're going to the Bahamas. If interested, scan that QR code for details. We have tons of testimonials across the country. We offer memberships. We have options to fit every practice. In-network, out-of-network, cash practice. Yes, cash practice. 40% of our clients are cash practices. Medicare, PI. Please check with the carriers you bill prior to submitting claims to ensure it's compliant. We're not responsible for any laws or rules that may change following this webinar, and you know they change all the time. So it's important to do your best to stay on top of these changes by attending seminars and webinars and joining your national and state professional associations. Again, prevention's the key. Don't wait for the oil light to flash on the dashboard. Let me give you my contact information. By the way, stay in touch with us with the latest on billing and coding. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I have over 100 free videos on YouTube. Here's my contact information. Email info@targetcoding.com. Website targetcoding.com. Telephone number 1-800-270-7044. Yes, we still have doctors that would like to fax us information, so we have a HIPAA secure fax number 1-844-831-2347. Would you like to schedule a free practice analysis with me? Yes, you would? Just scan that QR code in the bottom right corner. Or you could give us a call or send us an email. Be happy to do it with you. So again, I want to thank everyone for attending. I hope you learned a lot. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.